Hello guys and welcome back to Paul Bentley's Combat Hour. I've brought a couple of guests in today who for me mean a lot to English MMA, mainly in Liverpool for obvious reasons. The lads are working in Liverpool at the minute. But I've got Declan Doyle and Paul Reed. I'm going to tell you what I know about them and then I'm going to ask them to tell you a little bit more about them. So Paul Reed on my right is the owner of HFS Gym.
No. We'll start that one, lads, because there's nothing to do with HFS.
So is that not you?
No, that's Tony.
So what's your party plan?
So I used to spend some time there generally, and with Tony being involved and being my business partner in the Cage Warriors Academy.
So he's a business partner, but that's what your business.
Yeah, no, I don't really spend time there. It's in, to be fair, it's wrong end of the town for me. It's in Highton, obviously. So
Cage Warriors Academy is.
Well, Cage Warriors Academy is my.
That's down to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which has come on a long way.
Which is developed from the Shinobi brand.
Yeah.
So.
And Shinobi's still going.
Well. You know, the funny thing is, still get asked lots about Shinobi, and we're doing another show. But it's a great show, and it's the platform. It's where Molly got a platform, and some of the great lads. But I think the Cage Warriors Academy and the change to the auditoriums took it to another level. And the best thing for me is seeing how many lads have gone pro and now in Cage Warriors.
So it's the platform. Correct me if I'm wrong again. Shinobi, Cage Warriors Academy, Cage Warriors.
Yeah,
is that
exactly that. So the whole thing, Shinobi was set up and it did well. It's about bringing amateur MMA out of the little sports hall seats, no production, and then aim to just amateurs only. And get them into a bigger production, a bigger feel, better changing room energy, giving them a feel. The problem was that I'm feeling once you become a Shinobi champion, where'd you go? You're just a Shinobi champion, what do you do next? Okay. So because it was always a labour of love, it's not a commercial thing for me, it's just a labour of love because I love the sport. It was about, well, I'll speak to Mr. Boylan because he's just come to Liverpool, starting to pick up Cage Warriors. I think Shinobi was the best brand in Liverpool. We brought it back to the Olympia. Olympia was finished for MMA really, we brought it back. Had a chat with him, that's where the academy idea comes before, as the academy started setting up. And I think, from a Liverpool point of view, it's worked. Well, it couldn't have worked any better. The show on Saturday was 1,300 tickets.
It's great. It's a great idea, to be fair.
But you look at the last Cage Warriors show and look how many of the pros in Bobby Pallett's, Mick Stanton's, Matt Bonner. You look at they've all been coming through and starting to come through them shows, and now they're on Cage Warriors and doing well. So
also we've got Declan Doyle, who's one, a personal friend, and two, one of the most intelligent men I know, other than yourself. Declan, again, forget it wrong. But Declan, as far as I know, is not only Molly McCann's nutritionist, dietitian. That's what you do for the job, that's your labour of love, isn't it? That's what you really like doing as well, and that's what your qualifications are. If you can just explain to us how deep your qualifications are, that'd be great. And what you're doing now?
So I suppose during the day I'm a nutrition and health consultant, and on the side of that, I help a small handful of I suppose combat athletes in camp and outside the camp in relation to nutrition and performance. So I suppose where I come from is an exercise science kind of realm, if you like, and trying to inbuild that side of things into combat MMA.
And you work with Molly McCann. You helped her get to the UFC.
Well, I wouldn't say I helped her all the way to the UFC, but I kind of provided nutrition advice towards the last 3 or 4 fights and stuff.
Well, that's helping in my book.
Yeah.
That's definitely helping in my book. Whatever.
She's the type of fighter that I think she was always going to the UFC, whether she had 3 people on side or 4 people on side. She's that type of that type of fighter, if you like,
Yeah, cool. And you know Molly yourself, don't you?
Yeah, very well, yeah. She commentated on the show on Saturday.
That's right, she done
a fantastic job.
Did she get the thing she was asking for? Didn't she?
She did, yeah. Just
with that wages?
She was a breath of fresh air, to be fair. And in between shouting instructions out while she was trying to block the mic to the next one. But no, I actually watched because it's hard to watch a show, isn't it? So I watch Fight TV, I actually purchased it and Fight and watched it all back, but then I can listen to the commentary live and stuff, and she was great. And you know, I was worried about having 3, but Butlin, Hay and Molly come across really well. It was good.
Brilliant.
Really
Well,
good.
guys, there is certain questions that not only I want answers, I mean, and a lot of the MMA fans would like some answers. I'm not expecting you to know the in-depth answers, but I am expecting to know your side and what you think and what you presume could have been the issue. But we seem to have a weight cutting issue in MMA, and it's not that bad in boxing, or I'm wrong, but it seems like it's a lot worse in MMA.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Well, I do understand why, because I know that everybody wants that little step up. But do you not believe it's becoming unsafe now? Do you not think it's that extra step up is becoming a little bit more unsafe? For one, the brain, the lack of water and rehydration that has to go into the body, and to actually fight on this level, this type of combat, the hardest sport on the planet, at 70% and not hydrated correctly. I mean, Paul, how do you feel?
I was just saying to Declan before, you know, 5 years in of doing weigh-ins and I've seen everything come and go. You know how much time I spend at the gyms with the lads. Yeah. You know, it looks like now I am going to work with a couple of gyms. It's just because I'm so passionate about what they do and what they do wrong and that kind of stuff. And so my opinion is, and I'm getting more and more I look at it, more and more frustrated I get at the weigh-ins and look at some of the stupid things that go on. But I'll tell you the difference between boxing and MMA. Boxing goes back a long time, really, where lads they live the life in between bouts. If you look at the boxer that lives their life, I'm telling you, MMA lads are gorging on shit food. Yeah. Fact. So they do a weight cut, they eat themselves into 15 kilos heavier, and then they come off again and they go. Now, I was looking at lads who are saying they're dying and they can't go through anymore and they're feeling ill and they're feeling sick and they're feeling headaches, and it's because they haven't cut. It's not because of the weight cuts, because these lads are absolutely fueled daily with caffeine and sugar, and the minute you start cutting out that and you've dehydrated, you're not eating, your body's just craving. It's like taking off hard drugs for a couple of days. That's all they're feeling. But I watch them carry fat, and then cutting water. Now, you know, so I'm getting concerned. I watch a kid who's 17 come in and has lost a stone in a week, because that's the only time he was told to challenge his weight at 17.
It's quite worrying, though.
So, but through it all, I think living a life is important. I think weight classes is great, but if you can only look at other things as like weight classes, if you know you're doing all the right things to start with, because there's only 2 ways. If you take them down too far, you as a coach at some stage got to think, I've took them as far as you can go weight-wise, body fat-wise, water-wise. I can't do it anymore, I need to go up a weight. And that's when it comes in, yeah? But if I see a guy come in and he's carrying body fat, he's carrying a belly, and all he's doing is cutting water, all these 7-8 kilos out with 4 days to go, I'm saying, don't be talking about going all the weights, you don't need it. In fact, you could be down the weight.
Yeah.
So you can take it all, you know, I look at, and the problem being is, as you know, I go to the gyms, I live the life of them, some of them are friends. And we've all been there, and I've sort of been there and lived the life of bad food and stuff. I don't do it anymore. I live a healthy life. Yeah. Not enough people live a healthy life.
Yeah. So it's more of this is what you deal with day in day out as well, isn't it? The lifestyle has to be that of an MMA fighter.
I think Paul raised a good point there. I think if you look at that from an educational standpoint, if we talk about schools, like if we talk about if I'm 4 and I start school, potentially I'm not getting any nutritional education until I'm 16, 17, and that's only when I pick the choice to do it. So the only education I get, or I can get, is from home then. It's from my parents, or it's from a gym if I'm lucky to join an MMA gym. So I think that's a factor in, as Paul said, living the life.
Yeah.
If your life is stemmed from your parents' educational shopping habits, then you potentially are creating habits that are inbuilt over 16, 18 years, right? So, and then if you want to pick an athlete's life after that, it's very hard to come out of a life that you've learned for 16, 18 years where you potentially didn't cook. Your mum or dad cooked all your meals were cooked, prepped, shopping habits were all done for you, and then to have to even think about even cutting weight right to perform, it's a big ask, right? Yeah. So I think, as Paul said, I think the answer lies in how can you make it a lifestyle rather than I'm just going to cut weight for 8 weeks And that's why I think that's a good point between the two extremes. If you talk about MMA and the boxing world, athletes tend to live the life more in between camps, and that's what probably needs to happen a lot. I think Paul mentioned a good point in relation to fat percentage there. Like, that is a good tracker, if you like, to know if someone's, because you could be losing weight but your fat percentage stays the same, so you can tell a lot. I think you kind of know weight cuts, like if they're coming in at a higher fat percentage but they've lost weight, it's a lot harder to get a lot of the water out of the body, you know. So
see, this is the thing, you see. Now, although we've had UFC Liverpool, and I hate to say this because the stigma of that show was ruined by weight cuts.
Yeah, it was.
Because that look, it's facts. Now, Molly McCann went in to miss weight. Darren still went in to miss weight. These are the two people who represented the city. And although Darren won his fight and Molly represented the city in a fantastic manner, the only thing the public are talking about is the weight cuts. Now, unfortunately, I mean, Darren beat on the boy, but every comment that gets mentioned is, but he didn't make weight. Nobody is taking the positive, they're only taking the negative. So all that I'm hearing a lot now is UFC Liverpool, no weight cut.
Some people love the negative though, don't they?
Of course, we're always going to get that positivity. And it pains me, to be honest with you. It does my head in, because obviously these don't know the life that one, Molly and Dan live. And it's a shame really, because both of them are quite professional, aren't they? In the road towards MMA, they both are. So for that to happen, there had to have been an issue on that day, or the day before, which has never happened before, because you've worked with Molly a lot, haven't you?
Well, there's two different styles of losing. If you look at Darren and you look at him just when he put the footage up of, you know, and I'm going to be honest, I don't understand working pads where you're trying to get the water out of you, but he's so lean. I mean, you know, he's literally. I mean, it's as lean as you're ever going to get an athlete like that. I mean, there's leanness, you know. It didn't look well, did he? Let's be honest.
No. Well, he wasn't. So, I mean, you've seen the
you know, it's tough. However you look for it, you know. And people say you can go for it. I mean, that's hell to get yourself at that point and still get yourself up and then go and try and do some pads and all the other stuff he's doing. So you've got to give respect, because that's hell, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing worse than that.
No.
You know, Molly's never missed weight. I don't know if Darren has. I don't know if Darren's ever missed weight.
I don't think Darren has either, to be fair. I don't know.
So, you know, he can do it, can't he? So, you know, something's gone wrong because it's in the hometown, but you've got all your comforts around you. Is it to become too comfortable? You know, whether you're normally out in another country.
On the time, Darren's mentioned he was a fan.
So maybe that's...
We have to take that into consideration by all means. And as I say, look, this for me, I still believe there is a continuous issue with, one, the lifestyle, two, the weight cut, and three, the fact that the coaches are happy to watch this and agonising pain. I wouldn't say happy to watch, but allow it.
I think it's a tough one. I mean,
we've got questions. Look, there's questions that need answered, and that's facts.
Cool. There's two extremes. Like, you've got to obviously make the weight to fight in the division you're in. Like, losing weight in general is not an easy trait to do anyway, right? So that's number one. So you've got to, I suppose, think about what is healthy to cut and perform at the same time, right? So if we look at the research, if you're within 6 to 10% of your actual fighting weight 8 to 10 days out, you can absolutely hydrate and perform. We actually know from research your power output isn't affected. So if it's done in that way, you can absolutely cut 6 to 10% of your weight if you're in a good place and perform 24, 36 hours, right? So I mean, I don't see the MMA world taking out weight cuts anytime soon.
But do you believe there needs to be implications? Do you believe there's got to be more rules?
I just think there's got to be more responsibility taken at gym level. I mean, if you've got to know your fighters. There's fighters that walk down lean and never struggle cutting weight because they look lean. You can spot them. If you've got half a trained eye, you know the person's going to lose weight. You know the person's struggling because you can see it the way they're carrying it in their body. Yeah. So, you know, you can see there's two different people. One lives a life, he might be stuck with his girlfriend, he's never going out, he's never partying, he's easy to deal with. So the lad's always out partying, you know, he's fast food, he's never, you know, that's a so you're going to start having to diversify how you're going to deal with people when it comes to weight cut time, aren't you? This guy's going to be easier, this guy's going to be tougher. I'm going to have to be stricter on him and all the 10 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever you start on him.
See, I was thinking, I mean, I think that coaches should put some financial support into getting a dietitian, nutritionist or somebody to help and be maybe like there's one in each club that actually every week anybody who's fighting can monitor this stuff.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't cost a lot of money to have that safeguard on your fighters. Let's have it right for, let's say for argument's sake, there was you for a gym, and every week you went in, if you've got an 8 week to 10 week fight camp, you went in, he's on target, you're on target, you're not on target, get on target or don't fight, you decide. Do you get, I mean, small things like something that small that can save a life.
You've got to remember you're also going through how many fighters, they don't sleep at night, they're stressed, they're up and down. You know, you deal with all kinds of stuff that affect weight outside of all the things they're doing in nutrition. You're dealing with people that can see you've got skin issues, so say they've got some kind of gut health issues going on. You're dealing with all kinds of health issues as well in the middle of that. You'll see and some people that are more estrogen dominant. You'll see people that clearly have more test. You know, so you're dealing with people all over the place. And this is where I get to the point of saying you're going to have to deal with people differently because the food side and everything is really important. But some people you think they're not healthy and they have to be healthy. And some people there's got to be a point to say, I need to get you healthy. And the one thing I always remember Phil Richardson talking when he worked for the World's Strongest Man was that when he wasn't performing, it was a reason because his body wasn't healthy. He was still strong, but all of a sudden he went 20% because they found things in his body that he wasn't healthy. Now, that's easy at that level. And it's easy, you know, if lads can fund it.
Yeah.
But this thing about getting to lads in like, can we do some basic testing, like, you know, hair mineral testing? It's got 90 quid, and start finding where you are from just from a mineral and toxicity point of view and this kind of thing, to start working with them to say, look, there's fundamental things going on, thyroid wise, toxicity level wise.
You know,
but yeah, and you know, listen, it works. I can tell you from the people I work with, it has life-changing effects. And it also has life extension effects, to be fair. But with guys generally, I just look at some of them and think, well, if they're not sleeping, they're going to struggle.
Of course, yeah.
Because they're not sleeping. Man, why aren't they sleeping? Because they're over-caffeinated. Because all they're ever doing is saying caffeine and caffeine and caffeine and caffeine.
Cans of Monster, yeah.
You know, and it's just, yeah. So I just think it's more complex, I think, to get a gym coach trying to get through that. That's hard, especially at a gym as big as some of the gyms around here. They've got 100 people on the mat and classes going everywhere, and now we're going to do that. They're never going to do it.
I don't really turn to the head coach for that.
You want to turn to somebody else?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Now, the head coach has enough problems. He's got enough issues. He's got 20, 30 fighters coming in every day talking about issues, problems, all this, which is why I think he has to take a backseat on that. Because for him to have to deal with your personal emotions, for him to have to deal with your nutrition, and him to have to make sure that you're there on time, that's all too much.
Yeah, I agree.
So I do believe that some coaches, classes just say, right, everybody likes to be hands-on. Every head coach likes to be hands-on. You've got your Paul Rimmers, your Callum Morris, your Jason Sands, your Colin Evans. These men want to be hands-on, which is because they're so good at what they do.
Yeah.
So they want to implicate what they do on that person. So it's hard for me to say, I want to do this with you, but I want to let you teach him. Do you know what I mean? That's the hard bit, but they've got to stop. For me, they need to take that step.
But for it to work, Paul, you think whoever does it, say somebody was doing it, they've still got to work together with head coaches, a real tight-knit team.
By all means, but more of a, look, this is how he's getting on.
Yeah.
No.
You're right. I think the key is
job delegation.
Is there an open pathway where we're all in a room and we go, what is the best for this fighter mutually, rather than I'm doing this, you're doing this. And that tends to be, in my experience, and this is watching it from I suppose external standpoint, and this is in the highest level as well, you've got to have an open pathway where people say, you know, what's the best for my fighter? This is his expertise, this is his expertise, this is his expertise, but ultimately we're all working for the fighter. That's how it all boils down. So.
Declan, I have watched the most highest level of MMA. I have watched the most professional fighter look like a bag of shit in a sauna. with a bin bag on, shadow boxing. Now, at what point is that professional? I don't see professional when I see that. When I see that, I see a really bad team. I see a really bad coach. I see a really stupid fighter. Now, I don't know what your opinion of that, but for me,
I don't think, my opinion is I don't think anybody does anything for the wrong reason.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a naivety and a lack of understanding because there's a lot of dogma within MMA. There will be. This is the way we've always done it. Yeah, so it doesn't perhaps always, and not all the time, but a lot of time it sticks when it's always been. There's a lot of dogma in MMA. You know, with everything now, everything's changing. It's getting more advanced.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what athlete you are, everything's changing. It's getting more advanced, and MMA needs to do that. It's where you get your levels. It's whether you get your amateur guy to your pro guy, and actually, you know, if you've got a pro guy with life-changing purse, it's worth possibly pushing Dan Tilter, because the future problems he may create himself in health, he might outweigh that, and the chance he won't get that, but he's getting life-changing money for him and his family.
Of course, yeah.
When you step down into 500 and 700 and £1,000, and that's life-changing, is it worth putting him through it? You know, bearing in mind that he's already taking damage every day in the gym and when he fights, and do you want to also put him through that horrendous time at weight cut for money that is pocket money?
Of course,
do you know what I mean? That's where it's got to be more detailed. Yeah.
Do you believe? Now, I believe any fighter, if you tell a fighter to fight, he will fight. He's protected by his coach.
Yeah.
It's like anything. This is where I'm saying somebody needs to step in for a fight. Darren Till's a fighter. You tell Darren Till to fight, he's going to fight, I assure you. I don't care, that man will fight. Because that's what he does, or he'll set himself up for it, whatever it takes, he will fight. But do you not think at one point it's where the coach needs to step in and say, not today, Darren, we need to fix this? Or not today, John, or not today, Steve, you know, just as an example. Obviously it's not happening, but as an example, do you not believe it's your coach to protect you from them dangers?
I mean, I think,
or the team around
the positives on it. I mean, without a doubt, there are some teams in the UFC and what have you, like they've got a whole team of dietitians, nutritionists, GPs. Corey Peacock is doing some great work over there, where like, but again, you've got to be given the open pathway for the gym to say, look, this is what we want, this is the team we want around you, to actually even trial any of that stuff.
Yeah.
If the door's shut full stop, then it's very hard to open that door and start coming in with your own ideas of what you think could potentially work, you know.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think there are improvements being made, you know, over the course of the last 5-6 years. It just needs to get to a level where the boxing is, I think.
I just think with MMA, under so much scrutiny as it is, and it is because it's such a violent sport. They say violent, it's a sport.
Yeah.
You know, we're comfortable with the fact this is what we do. But with a sport under so much scrutiny, this is the point, and this is especially when now it's come to Liverpool, and now we've got our Darren Tills and our Molly Cans, and now the world's watching. This is where we need to touch base. This is where everybody needs to not go on about who's got the biggest gym, who started MMA, who did this, all this bollocks we're seeing on social media. Instead, it should be, how can we come together and make English MMA a better sport, a safer sport, for one, our fighters, for two, the people coming to watch. You know, this is what I think needs to happen now, rather than, because there's always a stigma around gyms in MMA. It's like, they don't like each other. There's a lot of that in MMA.
A hell of a lot of that.
There's a lot of that in MMA, but there's not that much of that in boxing, because obviously they've passed them hurdles, haven't they? They still happen, but in MMA there's no like for like. There's not really much of that. But I just think at this point now, where, you know, MMA is becoming massive, and you've got your academies that lead up to your Cage Warriors, lead up to UFC. We've got our founders in Darren Till, in Molly McCann, in all these people that, you know, I mean, don't forget, we've still got our Paul Kellys, you know, all the people that were there a long time ago. I remember Rob Broughton, I remember Paul Cahoon, you know, these people, Terry Etten, these people laid a path, a really good path, which is getting followed now. And I just think that at this point, rather than hating, the clubs need to have a man for each other and say, what can we do now to safeguard MMA and stop people scrutinising our sport? So I was going to ask you now, for a more safer environment, for a more, what would you change? in one weight cut. This to use might seem, oh yeah, this is a bit political now, but I know many people.
Set the bar down.
But you know what? You know, if there was one thing I could change in MMA, my personal opinion, I would change weight cut. I would change how it's done and how it's monitored, and that's not because I disagree with how it's done. It's because I love the sport and I love the people involved in the sport, and I don't want to see a casualty. I just don't.
Would you change? Were you talking about changing it, running into it, or are you talking about changing when? Or
I changed the whole thing of it. One, I changed the monitoring for the whole 8 weeks. A lot of people are only saying 8 week count, but they do longer. I would change it for the whole 8 weeks. I have a monitoring system. Okay, we've got the same day weigh-in. Now, Big John McCarthy stated the fact only yesterday about same day weigh-ins, didn't he? About how to try and make it fair and unfair. And I'll let John McCarthy explain that. But I'm still for a day before weigh-in. Obviously,
it comes back to which fighter's doing it properly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course.
It'll work for some, it won't work for others. You can. That was always the thing before. Go to same day. Well, actually, same day is putting some people even worse at risk because they still realise they've done such a bad cut that on the day they're still cutting, and then they've got less time to rehydrate.
Make the weight.
So, you know, and with younger guys, we've always kept it that way. So the under 18s, we tried to keep it same day. But this time we've even had requests for them. With the junior flyweight belt, both of them kids, experienced kids, so not inexperienced.
No, of course.
There's 12 fights.
Experienced, that's 14. No,
well, yeah, but I mean they are super. You know, they're super experienced. But I still don't think it doesn't fix. The same as weight, it doesn't fix unless you get back to the things we're talking about the real core basic values. For me, one thing that changes, we have to try and convince outside of all the science of losing weight, we have to convince people how to live a healthy life on a daily basis and get into cutting out because actually the whole thing about weight becomes a lot easier if they don't gorge on fast food constantly, and because it's unreal the shit I see going in gyms. It's, you know, you're going to look at the bin times and think, you know, you've only got to see when some of the lads are eating. It is unreal. So, you know, and that's no different to anybody's walk of life, is it? Now, where does any athlete, even pro, train like an amateur MMA guy? Let's be honest. The guys and girls that train at amateur MMA train as hard as some pros in other sport. They put it in. In the other sports, do you think they're living outside of that sport in the way that some of the amateur MMA guys and girls are? They're not, are they? No. And this is the whole point. Why have we got a stigma in our sport about they gorge and they cut and they gorge and they cut and they gorge? Because I'm not saying everybody, because some of them take it seriously, right? Or eating properly, living healthy seriously. But some of the stuff, and I'm just saying facts here, I don't pick anybody out, but there's not, you know, I go to all of them, there's not many people I don't know, well, I haven't seen that, and I've seen it first hand, you know, so all this thing about the reason some of them missing weight is because you can't believe how heavy they go in between.
No, I can understand completely.
And that's making your life tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And you're making yourself sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. You're destroying your gut health. You can, you know, potentially destroying hormones. You're doing some serious stuff. So you just make yourself ill all the time. And then we get to the cut and make, you know, that's the point for me. Can we teach them the basics of living a healthy life?
So it's like,
and enjoying it. I mean, not to be like under duress, not to be stressed with it, not to be. Actually, you know what? You can eat really nice and eat nice stuff, and actually still live it. You know, instead of putting them under pressure and making it too heavy. And this is the point. The only thing I ever said is I think every coach or head should have a basic, even if it's 2 days of basic training towards nutrition and just
be great.
Basic
see, this is perfect because this is what I'm getting at. You see, Paul, this for me is what I would implicate in MMA more than anything is. Alright, I've trained in loads of gyms, I know loads of coaches, and I don't think any of them are bad whatsoever.
No,
I just think that we're
blessed in this city, aren't we? With
we are the best,
coaches.
I do believe we're old-fashioned.
Yeah.
And I do believe the torch has to be passed to
just on that point, it's, you know, it's a great point that Paul mentioned. I think 2 years ago I sent out 20 emails to MMA gyms around the Northwest saying, listen, I'd love to come in and do a seminar for 2.5 hours, and I'll talk about the basic how to set up your diet nutritionally and practically for the weight cutting process. You know how many responses I got back?
How many?
2. So, you know, just on your point, if there was an open pathway,
You allowed to say what?
like, no, I'm not saying that, but I do believe there's probably a little bit of a gap for an educational 2-day type seminar type thing, where here's the thing, I bring a chef in first, a cook in with the seminar, and I'd go through some basic, because it all boils down to the practicals of nutrition. We can talk about calories in, calories out, hormones, but how does that work out practically to a kid who works shift work and only has been throwing pot noodles in the microwave, right? Like, you need to get the practical skills. Like, in the UFC over the weekend, I was in the kitchen cooking meals, right? Like, but George Lockhart was in there, put on his whites, cooking his fighters' meals. He brought a chef in, cooking his fighters' meals for Wonder Boy. That's the practicalities of what's going on. Actually prepping food, cooking it, storing it, how it's you know what I mean? So
that's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I believe that's correct.
100%. But you need that in a gym environment, and you need the coach to be on board, and you need the coach to embed that into the fighters, that this is an important factor of you performing, you know.
That's investing in himself, though, isn't it? He's
100%.
invested in himself, he's invested in his future by spending that small amount of money on somebody to prep.
But and that's where you get practical points to say, you know, Wonder Boy can pay for that, but then you've got the lower level amateurs that you know. And again, some of them can eat all they want of this stuff, and they don't tend to put weight on, and you see others that do. But generally, they still be sick. It doesn't matter. You know, the way they look doesn't mean they're not sick.
Yeah.
So you know, either way, and then you know the way they train and their energy levels and everything, and a lot of it goes here as well, because I've never seen so much bipolar activity in fighters these days. They're up and they're down, and they're up and they're down.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think there's a lot of prima donna.
but I agree with that. You know, teaching people how to cook is because at the moment, meal prep has gone mental. These companies are everywhere now, meal prep, which I have a massive problem with, because I'm watching guys do it. Well, I have guys in the gym. I train people at a gym, and the food prep, meal prep people in there, big fridge of it, we're all eating it. And the guys who are, you know, we've got champions in it, body, whatever they call it, building or whatever it's called, posing on the stage. You know, we've got champions in our gym do that, but they're eating microwave food every day, 3 days, you know, 3 times a day. And when I ask them basically, it's like, is that plastic BPA free? I don't know. Well, do you ever ask them? So I asked the food company, and they don't know. So you get down to practicality, and I'm saying one of the most toxic things you can do when you're eating it 3 times a day and you're microwaving it, and you could poison yourself. And I'm asking a food prep company who's supposed to be, coming in with me, I'm healthy, and they don't know. So this is a level you get to, and I'm watching fighters do this every day.
The only thing that bugs me about food prep, if I'm honest with you, Paul, is when you see these. I see quite a lot of clientele through PT, and I see mothers sitting there with a bit of green beans, some baked potatoes and some fish, and
Why do you do that?
and then they come in and do stuff.
Because you can do it in a safe environment.
That would take you 5 minutes.
So you're right, you know, it'd be nice if people understood. It's so hard to get people on board. The only time they ever get on board is when disasters start to happen and people start missing weight. Because I have had people say, "Well, can you come and talk to me because I've had a, you know," and you go, "Yeah, I'm coming to," and then I'll turn around and within 2 weeks they're back to the old. Because it's all right at the time, they've had a bad experience, and you think you can help them, and then actually it's all right. And do you know, of all the people who've missed weight, I think 90% of the people who miss weight in UFC have won their fights.
They've all won. It's a 100% record.
Well,
no, it's Darren Tilley changed it.
Molly. I would know there's one other as well.
No, there's a few.
There's two.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you know, but so what happens is you get that, I've had a bad weight cut, I want to change, I've got the euphoria of winning, actually I'm not too bothered with the change because I've won, type of thing. So you do get concerned about bad weight cut gets forgotten because I've won.
Yeah.
And actually shouldn't, does it? Because if you were in that camp, would you want to change next time? Especially something as dramatic as £3.5.
Well, you know.
Now, it might be one-off, and it might be personal problems. It might be he didn't get enough, spend enough time if he had the issues at home, and I guess we'll never know that.
No.
So, and if he's never missed it before, can you really jump on somebody for it?
Exactly.
Probably not. If it was a regular one, like a Hendricks or somebody like that, you know, who's missing weight all the time, then that's fair enough, isn't it? So, unfortunately, the public jump all over him for it.
See, that's it, because Dan and Molly don't miss weight. They don't miss weight. But the social media, the armchair supporters who don't know these people personally like us, they're the ones saying, don't bring UFC back to Liverpool, which we can't allow. We can't have that. We need to make changes so that happens. Now, obviously, you know, Dana White loves his money, so that's never going to stop. They're all money, he's got business sense, and we sold out. But I just think...
I think Liverpool are great. It didn't give us the kind of coverage we wanted, I guess, that it when the two favourites that made weight. I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I think everybody's more concerned that Molly's incredibly popular, so people would be shocked about that. Secondly is the whole show's not happening if Dan Till isn't fighting. There was a point when you thought the whole show was off. You know what I mean?
Fair play to Wonderboy.
He's got his goals.
He's such a nice guy. He's a people person, isn't he? And his whole... the way he dealt with that was just...
You'll never get an atmosphere like that anywhere.
No.
What an atmosphere that was.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was. And fair play. He still won his fight.
Yeah.
He won his fight.
Pretty good performance, yeah.
5 rounds.
Shall we talk about the fight?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the fight. How does he feel about the judging? I had Dan Till win.
Yeah,
I didn't have him win by that.
No, I thought it was.
It was won by the last
it was
round.
close, but I liked
it.
it. I think he was trying to close distance a lot, so he wasn't trying to.
This is the argument. I love bearing in mind.
Is that part of the scoring?
Cage control.
Exactly.
Now, that doesn't exist. Cage control is something. I'm an MMA referee.
Yeah.
And John McCarthy wrote the rules for UFC.
Yeah.
So anybody explains what this cage control means, because I don't know it.
No, but that was an older school. Before this rules, this thing about taking centre stage, same as the boxing was. Take the centre stage and start scoring because you're going to be the.
And it was both down.
Because you're going to be the dominant fighter. That's hard to close Wonderboy, isn't it? Because nobody measures distance like he does.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard to do that. I think Wonderboy strikes that he did get off. Bear in mind that Till's also dropped him as well. I still thought Till won, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I had Till to win. I did put him down as a win, and I said in the third round, once he put him down, he's got this now, he's done this now, that's enough.
Yeah.
But I didn't have it in that margin.
No, it was too far. But at the same.
And if it wasn't that margin, there'd be no criticism, because the margin's so high. It's open criticism.
But you wouldn't have been. You could have seen that the other way around, couldn't you? You had no idea. Everybody looked at each other, think, "I've no idea."
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't have been surprised either way, would you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised with a draw.
Yeah.
I could only ever see a draw or a bad win. That was me. That's my own personal opinion. I didn't see Wonderboy winning, but thought he could have got a draw, and that'd have been okay. That's fair enough. I didn't see a unanimous decision like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's
I
interesting
believe that if it was in a different country, it could have been a draw.
Yeah. I think if you watch the fight with the sound off, is a good place to be in.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously it was a great crowd. I was at the fight myself, and the crowd was. Paul said it was a great atmosphere, but if you watch it back with the sound off, it gets closer and closer every time.
Yeah.
You just see the back and forth strikes and stuff. But I did give it to Till. I think he edged it.
Yeah.
I think he edged it.
I agree. You know, Dan Till won the fight. And again, no matter if he'd have won by 10 points, 2 points, 1 point, there's always going to be scrutiny.
If Wonderboy would engage more, Dan Till would have kept dropping him.
I think so, yeah.
That's the bit I liked.
I agree on that.
But if he stepped in and if they wanted to close and just, you know, at least even 10, 20 seconds.
If he stood him back for a bit.
Yeah, Till the one all day. And I'm really disappointed with how many negative comments there were from people. You've got to understand how talented these guys are at the top of their game stand up. You're not going to just see them having a war. It's just never going to happen, was it?
I think for me, there's 3 strikers who are the best strikers in the world. Now, I'm not going to go on about Conor McGregor, okay, because you know he's mentioned in every aspect of life, every minute of boxing, i.e. everything else. But so let's just leave aside for seconds. And for me, it was Wonderboy, Dan Till, and MVP.
Yeah, he's looking,
I mean, Bentley lads.
Excuse me, who the hell is MVP?
Michael Venom Page.
Oh, right,
Michael
cool.
Page. He fights at Bellator now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's only recently just won again, and he's outstanding. I would like to see whether he come over.
Needs to be tested, yeah.
I would like to see him come over and see.
He's got he's a freak, isn't he?
He's unbelievable, and I'd like to see a Dan Till Michael Page fight. That'd be, for me, that'd be something.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Again, I think it's hard because Dan Till's strength and how he hits people, he just puts them away. And again, Michael Page has not been tested in that.
Nobody's ever hit him, I don't think.
I don't think he's ever been hit.
No.
I think that's will come up and see what we're talking about. He's something else.
Definitely.
So sticking to UFC Liverpool, there's also another criticism who I would like to defend a little bit. Obviously, working in the same job as him is Neil Hall. With the Molly McCann fight, he was getting a lot of stress and a lot of scrutiny over saying that he left the tap for so long. He left it so long for it to sleep. But if you had a look at it correctly, and if you do look at it from a different angle, there was nothing to be seen.
I've not studied it, to be fair, after. I mean, at the time, I didn't spot it.
There was not much
if I'm
to be
honest,
seen.
all you think is he's giving Molly enough time because being the tough...
He knows
exactly.
He's got a tap.
You have to remember that these referees, they know the fighters. Neil Hall personally knows Molly McCann.
Exactly, yeah.
He knows that one, if he lets it go early, she's not having that.
Yeah, of course.
Two, she's in safe hands. Let's have it right. She's in safe hands. We've all slept them both up. She's in safe hands. And three, can you imagine what the coaches would have done if either said stop, she'd have jumped out? What do you mean stop? Because I've been in that position. Can you imagine the uproar? I think the decision was correct what he did. I think, okay, maybe a second or one, but you haven't been in the ring to understand how he felt. You don't know what it's like watching people roll around. I do it every week, and you're looking for a hand. Is there a movement to the hand?
Right.
You're asking, give me a thumbs up. You need some sort, but it's hard for you to interact with a fighter. He's trying to concentrate on that. You can't interact and say, you alright there, but you can't. But when hands are missing, it's so difficult, and the referee's job is so difficult for me.
I don't know why you want to do it, mate.
Crazy.
I always choose the hard jobs, don't I? But I'd like to defend Neil Hall a little bit on that respect. I don't know any previous mistakes he might have done for whatever anybody else, but on that issue and on referees' mistakes, Christ, it's not the easiest job in the world.
Exactly.
No, but there's going back to the old point, is it's easy to criticise people little mistakes, but as long as you've done everything ever right yourself and everything you do. I see stuff go on and think, it's wrong. I mean, that's it. It's sort of getting abusive. Neil, every referee in the world at the highest level has done things that's been criticised.
Of course.
You're never going to get away with it. It was
That Mark Goddard demonstrated with Conor McGregor in the cage.
I mean, he didn't do a lot wrong, Mark, on that night, but Mark's got picked up with a couple of some. I didn't see what it was, but people picked up saying Mark had a bad night. Again, I didn't say, it is what it is. But I mean, it's the same thing you always say. Neil generally conducts himself at the time to do the job in the best of his ability, and he always conducts himself in the right way. So, I haven't studied it, so I can't say. I've seen everything as far as he kept it on for 7 seconds longer than it should have been and stuff like that. So I've not studied it. To be fair, I really didn't want to watch the Molly finish again.
Takes 10 seconds.
Because it was hard enough to watch as it was.
10 seconds.
It can be quicker, I think, if it's right on.
7 minutes. It wasn't. I wouldn't have that.
So it's a shame. There's a lot of emotions running high, and Molly losing wasn't. I think we all felt. I mean, I actually we shot out for 3 or 4 fights because couldn't have been any more devastated. To
She's quite close to everyone, Molly. She's Liverpool.
She's great.
Everybody loves her. And what's so we just had Cage Warriors Academy Saturday gone.
Yeah.
And is there anybody specifically that I'd like you to mention who we're going to be looking out for?
Do you know what? Strangely, I mean, put a lot of debut bouts on, and one or two fight novices on, and they were unbelievable. So I was told to Ian Butler, and he's obviously left some big shows, including M1. He says the best card he's ever commentated on. Molly say the standard, even though it's early finishes, these finishes were outstanding finishes. I don't know. Here's one for me because it's the next generation. Like Adam Small's finish.
Yeah.
As a debut.
Yeah.
I mean,
Danny Green.
Frambeer's going to be. I mean, I put him in a little ad to say little article with one of the guys from the media about one to watch for. Marlon Jones, I have to mention him. Marlon Jones was fighting Sam Burr in TFT. He was 8-0, said to be the best kid in the country, and Marlon destroyed him in the round.
Wow.
So, you know, there's a Sophie who, and you know, we talk about a favourite, Sophie Keeman. What a lovely kid. You know, but the girl that fought Sophie, Levi Stigman from SBG Manchester, was young, novice, absolutely looked on the button, body shape, stand up, groundwork, you know, she just looked really, really good.
And she was a novice?
Yeah, it was a debut against Sophie. Sophie's only had one bout, but I mean, it was a good bout, it was tight, but you know, but so many great finishes. I mean, they went for it.
Marcus Lewis fight?
Marcus Lewis. See, Marcus Lewis is the one I said, look, this kid could go all the way, because I'm excited watching Marcus. He's very humble, trains the right way, never had a problem with him with weight. You know, he's got that traditional martial arts background from his dad, of course.
Massive history in there.
But we knew he's going to fight a tough Scotch. There's not many come down from Scotland, mate, that aren't really tough. Mark Hughes tough.
Is he from the Grey House?
No, he's Headhunters.
I know.
Yeah, so I knew it was a tough fight. But so stand up, you know, Marcus, hands down traditional karate, kung fu, sort of kickboxing style, but he was trying lots of flashy things really. So he had to go in the third round and win. He had to, because he won the first, but we lost the second. And he's trying to roll in thunder kick and stuff like that, which settled him straight into, because he's missed right into being on his back and the lad attacking him. Because I really wanted, you know, if you look at it and thinking, I want to take this lad. He's a massive ticket seller. He's massively popular. He's great to deal with. I like Gavin Hughes as coach. Is a great lad to deal with.
Yeah.
Everything's right about taking him forward. He's fighting a lad from Scotland. You know, I've actually got, and it doesn't, because they're both great lads, but my lightweight title now is going to be competed between two Scottish lads. Naturally, cage one is Northwest. I would like a Northwest lad to be involved in it somewhere, because when this Grand Prix starts, so I'm starting to eye lads up and think they could be good for the Grand Prix, but the Grand Prix has to be Northwest guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can't send Scotland guys.
This is the question we had with young Marcus, his groundwork. How was the groundwork?
Well, he defended quite well. Well, he defended. So back to the cage. So he actually, you can see he's come on. He did all right. He even defended himself on the ground. So he's definitely picked up, and he will do under Gavin and Tom Blackledge.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say, it's just that guy is experienced and tough, and was raining down ground and pound and was going to be too dominant, where Marcus didn't need to be in that position. Marcus, you know,
it's not science, isn't it?
Well, do you know what? It might be the best thing that ever happened to him, because exactly that, and that's how we took it. Connor Hughes MMA Academy fought one of Dave Butland's lads, Lewis Ridley, who's super tough man, and you know, bust him up badly with two big black eyes, two heavy black eyes, tough fight, but Connor looked on fire, and I think that's only his third fight, or the fourth fight, so he's definitely one to watch out for.
Okay.
Bobby Rice-White from Hammer, young kid, 17, looked amazing. So did the young Ian Gibson from his back. So a lot of youngsters coming through. It was great to see. I'll tell you, the city's on fire with youngsters.
Well, this is what I mean.
You know, Fran's still 17, isn't he?
Franny Green.
Fran fought Sean from the Pound MMA in Wales, who's 25, 26. He's fully grown, tough lad. Actually looks really big. He always makes his weight, never failed, but he looks big. He looks like a bantamweight. And Fran took a couple of heavy shots, but too good for him. 17, you know, you're mixing with the men, because it doesn't matter 17, 25, you're going to get a size difference. It's still that. So, you know, Fran's going to be there for the title every time.
Well, it's good to know, you know.
But the city's on fire, I tell you, mate, up to 18, 19, there's so much. Callum Smith.
Yeah.
The funk, how can you not love him? Another just a great lad, great win. So the city's full of it. It's great to see.
And obviously, not to mention young Paddy and Fishgold being accepted in the UFC.
Bentley coming back after all that time out of those injuries. Still had a nightmare with his weight. Missed weight heavily. Had to put a weight limit on the Saturday to make the bout. Lost his purse. You know, had a lot to deal with, but you know, on the night stepped up. Couldn't be happy for him. after all they've been through. So very successful, really. There couldn't be, the fights, every fight, a lot of finishes. Nobody held back. Everybody went in and actually went to war. Put a show on. It was.
So we've got a future. We have got a massive future. Why we need to make sure that things are correct in this city and make sure that UFC see us again and we take it to the next level next time.
Yeah, it's be nice to see them come back. I don't know if they'll come back to the Echo or whether there's talk about them doing a big till fight on the Anfield.
Anfield, yeah.
Hey, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be great.
Right guys, well, I'm going to leave it there and I really appreciate you coming and I hope you've got off your chest everything that needed to be said.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Paul, a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks very much.